Welcome to lesson 81 of our interactive notes. And we are classifying quadrilaterals, pages 37 and 38. So our content objective for 4th grade Geometry 2. I can recognize and identify special quadrilaterals. Language objective, I can use vocabulary related to geometry to classify quadrilaterals. Social objective, I can work with others to use models to help identify classifying quadrilaterals. So here are the main quadrilaterals that we're going to talk about. Remember, quadrilateral, quad means 4 sides. So 4-sided shapes, these are our special ones. So here we have a parallelogram. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs mean 2 sides of opposite sides are parallel. So A and A here, if you extended those sides out, would never cross. They're always going to be an equal distance apart, so they're parallel. B and B, same thing. If you extend them out, they will never cross, or they'll always be the same distance apart, so they're parallel. So that's one type of special quadrilateral, a parallelogram. But even a parallelogram has more special shapes, because then you could go on to a rhombus. A rhombus is a special type of parallelogram. So it's a parallelogram with all 4 sides equal in length. So this would be a shape that you may have called a diamond when you're in lower grades. That all 4 sides are exactly the same length, and they're also all parallel. So a rhombus is a parallelogram. It's a special one where all 4 sides are the same length. A rectangle is also a special parallelogram. It's a polygon with 4 sides and 4 angles where every angle is a right angle and opposite sides are equal in length. So it is a parallelogram. Opposite sides are parallel. All 4 angles are right angles. And what ends up happening is that the opposite sides are also going to be exactly the same length. Only the opposite sides, so not all 4 like a rhombus. So both of these are parallelograms, special parallelograms. This one has 4 equal sides. This one has 4 right angles. And then that takes us to a square, because a square is a parallelogram, is a rhombus, is a rectangle. It fits in all these categories, which makes it even more special because it's a polygon with 4 sides and 4 angles where every angle is a right angle and all sides are equal in length. So it is a special type of rectangle where all 4 sides are the same length. It's a special type of rhombus where all angles are right angles. It's a special type of parallelogram that is both a rhombus and rectangle. So these all go together. Then we have a trapezoid. A trapezoid is a polygon with 4 sides and 4 angles. 2 of the sides are parallel. So in a parallelogram, opposite sides are parallel. In a trapezoid, only 1 pair of sides. Now oftentimes it'll be the top and bottom, but that's not always the case. As long as 1 pair of sides is parallel, that's what we're looking for, and the other pair is not for our definition. So these 2 sides here, if I were to extend them out, would eventually cross. They are not the same distance apart the whole way. So we have 1 pair that are parallel, 1 pair that are not. That's what makes it a trapezoid. So here, just to see the connection again, all of these shapes are quadrilaterals. So this is like a family tree of quadrilaterals. From here, you could have a trapezoid where just one pair of sides is parallel. And from there, there's actually special trapezoids. We don't have to worry about them so much, but you have a right trapezoid where two of the angles are right angles and two are not. This one is called, actually you can't see it, but it's an isosceles. Trapezoid. That's what it says inside, but it's too dark to read it. And just like with the isosceles triangle, the two legs that are not parallel are actually congruent. They're equal length, making it isosceles. These you would need to know more as you get into high school, but there are even more special ones. Then from a quadrilateral, we have a parallelogram. And a parallelogram, you have a rhombus and rectangle, special parallelograms here, with 4 equal sides, 4 right angles. And then from here, you have an even more special parallelogram, where it has the 4 equal sides like a rhombus and the 4 right angles like a rectangle. And actually you have a special shape over here that is also goes with a rhombus and a square, and it's called a kite. And if you see, it looks like a kite. Again, you don't need to know this till high school, but that is a special quadrilateral. All right, so here we go. Identify every polygon category into which each shape may be included. So if we were to classify these shapes, what are all the shapes that it could go, what's all the polygon categories that it could go into? Well, this has 4 sides, so it is a quadrilateral. We only have one pair of parallel sides. Whenever you see arrows like that, that indicates those two lines are parallel, or supposed to be. Since we have only one pair of parallel sides, it is a trapezoid. We don't have any right angles, and these are not equal in length or congruent, so that would be the most specific category. Okay, parallelogram. Well, a parallelogram has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, so it is a quadrilateral. Because quad means 4, lateral means sides. And then these two sides are parallel, and these two sides are parallel. So we have 2 pairs of opposite sides being parallel. It's a parallelogram. We do not have 4 congruent sides, and we do not have right angles, so that's the most specific category. Okay, so a rhombus has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, so it is a quadrilateral. It does have opposite sides that are parallel, so it is a parallelogram. All 4 sides are congruent or equal in length, so it is a rhombus. Now this particular shape looks like it may have close to right angles, but they're a little bit off, so that's as specific as we're going to get. This is kind of funny. That's not a square. Let's draw that so it looks like a square. Wherever I copied that from, that was not quite right. Here, rectangle, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, so it is a quadrilateral. Let's see. It has 2 pairs a parallel side, so it is a parallelogram. And it has 4 right angles, so it is a rectangle. Not all 4 sides are equal, so it is not a rhombus. Okay, now that we've fixed our square, it has 4 sides, so it is a quadrilateral. Opposite sides are parallel, so it is a parallelogram. All 4 sides now should be close to an equal length. That's what we should have for our square. So it is a rhombus. It has 4 right angles. So it is a rectangle. And since it has both 4 congruent sides, or 4 sides with equal measure, and 4 right angles, it is a square. Now, knowing this is going to make a big difference when you're doing high school work, because each one of these have special characteristics that set up math equations, and just by knowing this, it'll help you to be able to set up those equations. The equations aren't difficult, but if you don't know this information, then you can't set it up to be able to solve the simpler problems. All right. So we're going to look at what makes each of these special. So a rectangle has, it's a 4-sided shape. It has 2 pairs of parallel sides. And it has 4 right angles. So these are what make it a rectangle. It actually doesn't matter if 2 sides are long and 2 sides are short. A square is actually a rectangle. It's a special kind of rectangle, but it is a rectangle. So it doesn't have to do with lengths of sides. It has to do with the angles. That's what makes it a rectangle. Okay, so this, a trapezoid, is a 4-sided shape that is a quadrilateral. It has 1 pair of parallel sides. Usually has 2 acute angles and 2 obtuse angles, comma, or conjunction, but it can have 2 right angles, but it would only have 2 right angles. If it had 4, then it would be a rectangle. And then, just so you know, isosceles trapezoids have congruent legs. So this one actually here that we have pictured, these are the same length. This would be an isosceles trapezoid. Parallelogram. It's a four-sided shape. Two pairs of parallel sides. Usually has two obtuse angles and two acute angles. If it has right angles, then it's a rectangle, which is a parallelogram. So that's why it's usually, it can have four right angles. That's fine. It's just a special kind of parallelogram then. Okay, a rhombus, or what you might know as a diamond, it's a four-sided shape. That's what makes it a quadrilateral. Two pairs of parallel sides. So it makes it a parallelogram. Four congruent. Remember, congruent means equal measure. Four congruent sides. And it often will have the two acute and two obtuse angles, like a parallelogram. Because if it has right angles, then it's a rectangle, and a special type of rectangle that makes it a square. So a square is a four-sided shape. It has two pairs of parallel sides. It has four right angles. And four congruent sides. So a square is a parallelogram, two pair of parallel sides. It is a rectangle, it has four right angles, and it is a rhombus, it has four congruent sides. Alright, so let's go ahead and do our three column notes and look a little bit more at our special quadrilaterals.